All right, let's go. I want to talk a little bit about some chapter 2 stuff now. I want you to look at these problems over the weekend, get familiar with it. We'll review it on Monday, but I want you to have dug into it a little bit yourselves. Try some of the problems that are coming up in Sapling from chapter 2, 2.1 and 2.2. We've talked about some of this a little bit. One of the things I want to go back to is, let me get up here onto the iPad. I want to show you some formulas that we're working with now when you're wanting to write the equation of a line. And circumstances, I'm going to ask you to do that on the test, to write an equation of a line. And typically, if there's two standard forms that are typically used, and one is called point-slope form, where you're given a point and you're given the slope. Or we've got the slope-intercept form, where it's in the form y equals mx plus b, that type situation. And slope-intercept form, yeah, well, when you've got the slope, we can talk about that in just a second. But let's look at this for a second here. So sometimes when we've got a point, it's referred to as x and y. All right, that can happen. And up in that top formula up there that I just did, notice you've got x1, y1 is considered the point of that we're concerned with. Well, sometimes though, if you've got x and you're dealing with a function, sometimes it is referred to as x and f of x. And in that last formula that we've been talking about when the x approaches some value c, okay, well, if c is the x value, if c is the x value, then it turns out that the value of the function will be f of c. F of c. So different times you're going to have these given pieces of information, but I want to show you that if you have a point and the slope, that these two equations I'll typically give you on tests and assessments when I'm asking you to write an equation. But point-slope form or slope-intercept form, look at this situation right here. We've got a point down here, 2, 3, and the slope is 5. So there's two different ways to do this. I want to review this. You've probably done this before. But if the point is 2, 3, that means x1, y1 is 2, 3. Then y minus the y1, 3 equals m times x minus x1. And then you solve for y. If I ask you to put it in slope-intercept form, that's typically a standard form that's utilized. We get 5x minus 10. Then add 3 to each side, we get y equals 5x plus 3. It makes it minus 7. Okay, well, another way to do it, if you haven't really done this before, sometimes it can be a shorter way. Sometimes it's more cumbersome or it can get your head. But if this is the information you have, here is your x, here is your y, and here is your m. So as a result, you have everything but b. So if you have 3 equals mx plus b, y equals mx plus b, then you've got 3 equals 10 plus b, and solve for b, we got b equals 3 minus 10, which is minus 7. Therefore, the equation is the slope and the y-intercept show up there, and you get the equation either way, okay? That's something I'm going to be asking you to do quite regularly. You're going to be asked to find the equation of a line.